the computer. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheree Lindbergh from Get Connected, and I'm here interviewing Patrice and Brittany. I'll have them introduce themselves in a second, all about their new workshop on self-compassion and brain spotting. So I thought it might be good to ask them some questions and find out what's going on with this new workshop. So who would like to go first, ladies, that want to introduce yourself?
I can go first. I'm Patrice Flanagan Morris. I'm a brain spotting consultant out in Heartland, Wisconsin, and I run an outpatient clinic there as well called Empowerment Within. I work with a lot of populations around the fawn response, perfectionism, people pleasing, complex trauma, and then over these last few years have really integrated in a lot of self-compassion work with my clients to help the brain spotting really evolve into more of a day-to-day life kind of habits rather than having specific skills and then processing in session.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
And Brittany?
I am Brittany Baggy. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I have a private practice there. I'm a brain spotting consultant. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I also use a lot of self-compassion work and brain spotting in my practice with my clients. And I've just seen enormous growth in people. And so it seemed natural to develop this training and to be able to share all of that with all of you.
Oh, great. Okay. So it's okay if I ask you some questions so we can get to know about it a little bit more? Okay, great. So why don't whoever wants to speak first, like, how did this evolve? How did you guys meet, and how did this idea come?
Yeah, Brittany and I met in your consult group, and
You know what? I didn't even know that. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I had just reached out
A few years ago.
Yeah, after a few meetings, I reached out and said, "Hey, I think we could get along. We seem to have a lot of the same values. I'm looking for a practice partner. Did you want to do some Zoom meetings and see if we'd be a good fit?" And so we started doing that twice a month, and the practice really quickly devolved into like us meeting and then talking about, and then what's working for this client with you and what's working for that client with you. And so we've really spent a few years now working together on a lot of case consultation, a lot of resource sharing, and then some really creative problem solving together. I think one of the really cool things about working together is when one of us is struggling, the other one kind of steps in and is able to give the solution and we just go back and forth that way. So it's been a really great collaboration even before we started putting together the whole training.
Okay, great. Is there more that you want to say about that, Brittany?
Yeah, I think that, getting to know each other in your group was great, but it was strengthened even more. We went through the consultant training with you together. And so we've done a lot of training in brain spotting and then even in self-compassion together and independently sometimes, but then bringing our resources together later too. So.
Okay, great. So in terms of the workshop, what are you hoping the participants will learn from this workshop?
Yeah, I think primarily, in doing brain spotting, I loved that people could work through their trauma and their stress and attachment issues. But I really loved bringing in self-compassion because it can help people to access and really experience or learn how to experience the full range of emotions. And so that is what we're hoping to bring to participants and really more to the therapy world so that people are doing both and everything is being integrated using brain spotting and self-compassion. And in my experience, those are two of the most powerful tools in therapy.
And we really want to support clinicians themselves and then bringing this to their clients of changing their relationship with hard and difficult emotions. And so I think we enter therapy really saying, like, I'm going to process this out. I'm going to take out my inner critic. I'm going to work through this, and then I'm going to be healed. And what we really want to help people do between Brainspotting and self-compassion is create that integration that Brittany's talking about of, I can have a different relationship with these emotions when they come up. They can be cues to me that something else is going on, and I can take care and nurture myself now in a different way because I have this built awareness of what's presenting right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. And what kind of clients can therapists serve in this training? Like if the therapists come and they get this training with you, what are the typical clients that are going to benefit the most that you guys have experienced?
Yeah, so, Brittany and I originally started putting this together because we were noticing a lot of stuck points with people who would come in with high perfectionism, a lot of inner criticism, a really high shame response because they'd get stuck either in these rumination loops or they would just kind of dissociate out. And so that's originally who we put the program for together as a whole. And then what we've noticed is even integrating bits and pieces of this, because it's so experiential with a lot of our other clients, it can really kind of spread out to everybody. But the original intent is for kind of that perfectionistic, inner critic, shame-based client.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And to piggyback off the last question, I think, there's so much rigidity in thinking and behaving that people come to therapy for in the first place. And so being able to expand their window of tolerance, again, with experiencing the full range of emotions and practicing those things and learning how to conceptualize or internalize them differently, can be helpful for anyone, but especially those rigid or left brain thinkers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Maybe even like high performers or type A personality too. Okay. Okay. All right. So how is this workshop new or different? Because there's a lot of brain spotting workshops that are coming out now. So how would you depict it as new or different?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a really different way of conceptualizing brain spotting in itself. Just like brain spotting is not just about an I position, self-compassion is not just about, letting yourself off the hook and saying nice things to yourself. I think it's a way to integrate so many different things emotionally, somatically, and even neocortically. And so being able to bring those things together with whoever's in front of you to make it a long-term benefit of how they process, how they regulate, how they expand this window of tolerance, so that it is skills and practices that they're taking with them outside of session and long-term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really helping create a way of life through, we use the main brain spotting principles and really integrate them in with the pillars of self-compassion to help our clients create a different way of life that helps reduce suffering, that creates more ease, even as stuff is coming up, even as life hits us, even when we get triggered from past experiences, to just create a more present and loving awareness. And I think another really cool thing that we're really excited about is we've been working on quite a few graphics to put through as anchor points in the training to really help people integrate the information as they go along. And so we have a lot of graphics that show a basic, and then as we teach more, we add more in, so that these are really, this is really information too that not only is going to benefit you, but you can use these graphics to really help your clients see a clearer picture. We've really noticed that those are amazing anchor points as we move about the presentation itself.
And I think being able to have, this isn't a training where we're going to necessarily go in this sequential order. People are going to be able to take elements depending on the client that's sitting in front of them and start there, but they'll be able to know how to assess for that and kind of where to start by taking the training. But, as you were talking, even I'm thinking what I loved about self-compassion, I had already been doing brain spotting when I really dug deeper into self-compassion and training and practicing it and doing it with clients, is that it really has so many undertones. All the brain spotting principles are elements and pillars of self-compassion. And so I think, if people are operating in terms of how they are processing emotions and really working through hard things, using an uncertainty principle that elicits curiosity, or really being able to check in their relationship with themselves. How am I talking to myself right now? What's going on with me in my body, neurobiologically, right? A lot of the principles and self-compassion pillars like organically flow together. It's a really good rhythm.
And we really want participants to walk away from this training with an applicable toolbox. These are, we're going to build in experientials throughout the training, and then there's also a setup at the end. But as we go along, we really want participants to walk away and say, I have this toolbox of tools, and I know now how I can more embrace curiosity more in a way of helping individual clients lean into a self-compassionate route, because self-compassion can have so much structure sometimes to it that it doesn't meet the client where it's at. And so what we're really trying to do is utilize brain spotting and self-compassion to meet that individual client where they're at, to have specific tools that work for them, and to know even how to adjust the tools to work for them, so that they can walk away from each session with things to work on outside of session, but having already now interwoven that self-compassion in some of their pain points in life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very curious about this workshop. I know you all have been working really hard on getting it structured and getting it ready, and I look forward to hearing more about it. And I want to wish you both all the best with that. And so where can they find out information? Where can they register for this training?
Yeah, so the information and registration is on my website, www.brainspottingstl.com.
Okay.
And then it's under the training tab. I think there's a link on the Facebook website.
Yep, on Facebook, and then it's also on the brainspotting.com as well.
Okay, wonderful. All right, well, good luck, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.